next anime that we are going to talk about is Re:Zero. Now, I do really wish I sat there and watched the newest episode, because that was the recording. I think it's episode 9 that came out, or episode 8. And people have been loving it. People have been, my god, I think I got like a 9.9 or 9.8. And I did see some screenshots. And by golly gee, is it cooking. But for now, since I didn't watch it, and I don't know what happens, we shall stick to the normal things and stuff, and we will just stick to talking about the normal stuff. So, first thing on my comment. So there is a library full of people who died and their history just pops up. Surely that will be used in some way, shape, or form. Otherwise, this will be the biggest wasted concept of the show so far. Yeah, so when they got to the library, I was actually very fascinated by it, because the idea of a book of people's lives is interesting. Funny enough, it's very close, and my god, this is going to be, if you know what this is, I appreciate you so much. But this kind of reminds me of the library SCP. I think it's called the Library of Alexandria, where all people's lives are just constantly written and you can just read it out. Now, obviously, there's some things that need to be navigated towards it and stuff like that, which does make sense. But obviously, there needs to be some past there that like we should be able to explore, whether that's like maybe looking into the witches or other people who died and stuff like that. I would very, 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 very much love to dive deeper into it. I would be massively excited to see what they do with that, because I feel like maybe you could look into somebody else's past, maybe you could look into like maybe someone who passed away, how their life was, like of like recent like memory of someone in the show. Maybe there's still some connection that Rem and Julius can use to get their own powers back or get their own memory back. There's just so much potential that was just not asked. I feel like we need to do that somehow. Now, like I said, what we found out for the most recent episode that came out at this point, that got a 9.9. I don't know what the fuck that is. They're obviously going in a direction that seems awesome. I don't know what that is, but it's very interesting. But at the same time, I do hope that they go back to that library. That library is a very fascinating concept, and I would love it so much. Okay, next thing that I have jotted down. Yeah, I know. No. I want to know the history of the first swordman so badly. What the hell is he doing here? Is he reincarnated? Why is he so harsh on Julius? I want to peek into his past for a peek into the past of Re:Zero that I want to know so badly about. So this is kind of just adding on to the library thing, where there's this swordsman who's the first swordsman. I forget his name. I think his name is like Reed or something like that. I only know him as Stick Swinger, which is funny because knowing more about his personality, it makes a lot of sense why he calls himself Stick Swinger, because it seems like he does not fuck with the knights. He does not fuck with anyone who calls himself a knight. He doesn't like the concept of the knights. It is wild, which would also make sense why he calls himself his title is Stick Swinger, because it's kind of derogatory to a knight, just calling him a Stick Swinger, right? So it feels like whatever baggage he has when it comes to how the knights are is crazy. And you see that with his interactions the second time around when Julius goes to fight him for the second time, and he sits there and he's just like, you call yourself a knight like that, but either that or like you're so hung up on this like knight shit, like you need to fucking drop it because you have no right to call yourself that. Which I feel like he is the type, right? I feel like Reed or Stick Swinger or whatever the fuck, I think he is the type to I think he's the type to look at people who are super like proper like that, and be like, I am the knight of blah blah blah. It's just like, oh, you're so prim and proper, like you're so this and that, like God, you're shitty, like you're the type of person that I hate in the night. You're the reason why like I got away. Which also at the same time, I don't know, I think they mentioned either his death was a mystery or something like that. I would love to know what the hell he's doing in the tower. Like, everyone's just so cool being like, oh, Julius, we meant to tell you. That's actually Reed, the first swordman. Oh, cool. Awesome. So no one is questioning why this dude is here, why he's acknowledged in like this, why he's interacting in this tower, why he's one of the trials, why he's acting the way he is, why, like, what happened to him. Obviously, it seems like it's a mystery. Like, no one's gonna ask why Reed the First Swordsman is here or have a question about it. Obviously, there's not any leads to it. There's not, like, something that they could dig deeper into, but I want someone to at least acknowledge it. I think we do for a brief moment, because obviously we wouldn't know he's Reed the First Swordsman without someone bringing up the fact he's Reed the First Swordsman, but at the same time, motherfucker, we're gonna go ahead, we're not gonna bring it up. Like, why is we're not spending more time on this? God, that made me upset. Also, what a way to stifle the test. I thought it was gonna, I'm like, oh, we're done with that test so fast, which the way Amelia wins that test is so crazy. But hey, a win's a win. Like I always say, a win's a win. Even if it is because he got tripped up from just scooping up Amelia's booba and he freaks out because Amelia is just casual, like, oh, I don't fucking know. Like, we're in a battle. You touching my boobs is kind of like not like on my forte right now. It's kind of not the I don't know what you want me to say. I don't know what you want me to do. But I do like the fact that it's only Amelia that can go forward, not anybody else. So it's not a cop out. Not everyone can go. It is the fact that everybody needs to pass that test, which does make me interested. How the hell they're going to pass the test? I feel like Subaru will figure it out. He's the main character. He'll always figure it out. Well, after the most recent episode, I don't fucking know at that point, but we'll see. But I assume that Subaru will have some answers, or Subaru will find a way. I'm assuming, I don't know, Beatrice might find a way, Ram might have some trouble, and it's, man, when that first time around, when, I forgot to bring that up too. Okay, I had to bring it up. I actually forgot, because that first time I'm talking about, Julius fights him twice. That first time, I have never seen a worse dog walking than I have ever seen in my entire life. At least the second time, like, he obviously was bodying him, but there was like a message there. He was like trying to take it more seriously because of like Julius, and he's just getting frustrated. Bro, I have never seen someone get dog walked so badly before. Like, this, I'm not gonna lie, what Reed did to Julius during his first test, and he had help from Anastasia too, quote unquote Anastasia, makes, like, it makes looking at shit like Yamcha from Dragon Ball Z look like nothing. Because, oh my god, I have never seen someone get more dog walked in a fight than I ever did in my entire life. That man used chopsticks to fight him. He broke his goddamn sword. He took chopsticks and like dragged him on the ground like a ragdoll. Like, I don't think you understand how brutal it was of what like this dude did to him. It is insane. It is actually unfathomably insane what he did to him. And like, low-key kind of rude. Like, I get it, we're playing around, it's a test. It's kind of rude. It was so fucked. It's insane. Oh my god. Holy shit, man. Oh god, okay. Alright, next point. You know, I am liking this time with Julius so far. His fall from being forgotten and getting wrecked is giving some humility I think is very, very much needed. So, that actually flows in pretty nicely to what I brought up before, because Julius always seemed to be this, like, somewhat pompous character, and it actually wasn't until, like, this season that I actually cared about Julius a lot. Because before, Julius was someone, I think in the last two seasons, Julius wasn't even in the second season. If he was, it was probably for maybe, like, a couple of episodes at most. But, like, other than that, like, first season, Julius was kind of annoying. He seemed like the third season, I fucked with Julius. Like, he tried to stand his ground against Gluttony, and I appreciate him for that, but he was kind of reckless, kind of dumb, and he is still kind of reckless and kind of dumb. But it seems like we are getting a little bit more into his backstory, and like, you know, I get it. That's fair. He's someone that's trying to prove himself, and he's probably someone that was told many, many times that he couldn't be a knight or he didn't have what it takes to be a knight, which, to an extent, I get why he would have that feeling. I get why he would go ahead and maybe feel a little slighted that Reed is talking down on him so much, because it probably brings like a lot of trauma of him being told like, hey, you can't do this, or you can't do that, or you're not good enough to do this, or you're not good enough to do that. I get the frustration. I get the anger. I get the problems, man. It sucks. It sucks to be told that you're not good enough at something when you want to be good at something. It really sucks. Which is also funny, given the fact that we'll be talking about Blue Lock, and that's a whole arc for that. But, man, I get it. I get it. I completely understand it. I completely understand the frustration, the all that stuff. So, it sucks, man. It does suck. Gives shitty feeling. But I think it's really needed for Julius's character for him to grow. One thing I should bring up, because we don't really, I brought it up, but there's not really a good place for me to talk about it, because I didn't really take much from it. Julius actually finds out about Anastasia's secret, the fact that it's not Anastasia. It's not Echidna. I forget the spirit's name. It's not Echidna, but I think it was like Foxinda or something like that. It finds out that Subaru's been hiding for it, not for like a long time, but for a little bit. And it kind of plays into that too, where he's just like, you guys don't trust me to be that way, like, to keep a secret, or you don't trust me that I can handle it. Like, I'm Anastasia's knight. I should know what's going on. And like, part of me understands, but part of me is just like, you weren't in the mental state to. Like, as far as you concerned, like, Anastasia doesn't remember you like that, dog. Like, it sucks, but that's the case. And it's shitty, it's fucky, and I get it. It's not great, but also, like, you gotta understand, you weren't in it. And I think that's just something that Julius will have to get over. And again, he's not necessarily mad at Subaru for keeping the secret, because he also admits that he probably would have done the same. But it still doesn't sting any less. Which, okay, I get that. At least he's like willing to bring it up. At least he's willing to admit that, which is good. The next point. ReZero will always be the best because they still keep the concept of isekai alive, still attaching Subaru to his previous world, which, yes, I know the next episode is intense. So, again, I do bring up the next episode. That we get. I know that we get like really into his backstory in the next episode, but the big thing for me that really appreciated it, at least in the confines of the episodes that I am talking about, is that Anastasia or Foxinda, whatever the fuck, they're like outside in the balcony having a conversation, and you know, Anastasia's outside and finds the secret passageway, and he's just like, what? Subaru's just like, what the fuck? Why are you here? And Anastasia's like, I mean, I found the pathway, you found the pathway. Is that kind of weird? And it's like, okay, fair. That makes sense. But Cinda at least actually approaches him, being like, you know, you are weird. You're kind of different from anybody else in the way that you interact. And I tried to look into your past at some point, and the only thing that comes up at the latest is an incident that happened at a small village. But other than that, I have no birth records. I have no time of you being younger. I don't have what country you come from. I don't have stuff. You're an anomaly, Subaru. I don't have any attractions from you other than that day at the village. So, Subaru Natsuki, who the fuck are you, or what the fuck are you? And I can't remember if Subaru actually admits that it's from another world, but it is one of those things where it's just like, oh, yep, it's coming. And this is why ReZero will stay as king of the isekais. Or at the very least, when people talk about the top isekais, you know, you bring up Mushoku Tensei, they bring up Slime, they bring up Overlord, they bring up Konosuba, and like, I think I can accept that, like, when it comes to like the big ones, those are kind of like the big ones. Tiny the Terribles, another good one. Basically, the way that I see it in terms of what you would pick as good isekais, look at Isekai Quartet. That's a random fucking pull, but Isekai Quartet, I think, is a good example of what animes are considered like the top of Isekai, which is ReZero, Konosuba, Overlord, Eminence of Shadow. I think that's it. I think Jobless Reincarnation with Mushoku Tensei, I think that got put in recently, but I know those are the, I know at the very least ReZero, Tiny the Terrible, Overlord, and Eminence of Shadow. I at least know those. Oh, and Slime. I think Slime's in there too. But I think like those are like the pinnacle when it comes to isekai. But ReZero, I still think just stands on its own on so many levels. Again, I think one of the only ones that can really rival it, and it's going to be very, very controversial, I won't expect to sleep it further, is probably Mushoku Tensei. I know for a lot of people, that's not a great thing to hear. And I get it. I acknowledge the criticisms. I'm not gonna run away from the criticisms. I do think he has massive problems, but I also think that the massive quality for Mushoku Tensei, it's just too high. It's just too high to just ignore because of its problems. It's kind of like Berserk in that sense, where like, yes, I know Berserk has problematic stuff, and like some of it I think is miscontrived when it comes to Berserk, but like, man, the quality of just the writing and the characters, all that shit is just so high. It's hard not to like to knock it. It's hard not to just ignore it when like the quality of what they do is so fucking good. But ReZero, I think it's just king. I think it just does too many good things well. I think it does too many like great things, and I think a good isekai is an isekai that still attaches the character to the previous world in some way, shape, or form, and ReZero does that to a fucking phenomenal degree. It does it to a phenomenal degree that I appreciate very much so. So, you know, take that what you will, but that's me when it comes to ReZero. Okay, next point that we got. Even though things are going to wrap up, I think we have spent too long not getting to know Shaola. It seems like she has been in here forever, and she knows some stuff that like the other characters wouldn't know. At some point, we gotta dive into her backstory sooner rather than later. So Shaola's been this character that has been somewhat guiding our group through the tower and helping, and it seems like her knowledge only goes towards the first level that we have, which is the library that I brought up earlier, and the specific rules that Anastasia asked her to explain, which she didn't explain, but you know, she finally explained it at this point. Which she says that there, I don't think there's a fifth rule. I think there is a fifth rule that's gonna fuck them, and she's just forgotten it at this point. But it's obvious that like Shaola knows some stuff. I mean, the big thing, and it goes back to wanting to know more about Reed as well, but Shaola's afraid of Reed, so much so that she passes out. Shaola and Reed have some history there that dates back to God knows how long. And if Shaola recognizes the first swordsman Reed, then Shaola's been here for a long time. And Shaola is old as fucking dirt. So Shaola knows some stuff. Shaola knows some stuff that she's not letting on, and I don't know if it's just the fact that she's that ditzy. I hope, given how ReZero plays and how it interacts, I hope the situation isn't that Shaola is somebody that's just like super dumb and it's like, oopsie, I forgot. I hope it is just like a trauma response to being here so long. And I hope, I actually kind of hope that the Shaola that we have here is not like the real Shaola. In the sense of like, this Shaola, this like bubbly, super excited Shaola, is more of a coping mechanism Shaola. And that when like the barriers and the coping all comes tearing down, the real Shaola and her real personality is going to come out. That's what I'm very interested to see. I hope that's the case. I don't know if that's the case. I really hope that is the case, because you know what, I trust ReZero to pull some shit like that. But that's my shot. I'm shooting my shot right now when it comes to Shaola in that regard. I really hope that we see that. I really hope that gets explored, and I really hope Shaola does get more time. And then my final time, or final point in this, I literally stopped in the episode with Subaru seems to have just completely forgot about everything, so I don't even know what the fuck we have in store, but I believe in ReZero and I believe in it cooking, and by judging by the score of the most recent episode, which was a 9.9, it seems like it was indeed, in fact, cooking. So this is basically just how I feel. ReZero, fucking great, fucking phenomenal. Obviously, it's still on top. Right now, it's battling with Needy Streamer Overload, but man, ReZero definitely going to be in the top 2 unless Damon's pulls some wild fucking shit. But, you know, it's at the top for the reason. It's there at peak for a reason. It's so fucking great. It's good. It's awesome. I can't wait to watch that episode because I am going to have comments for that motherfucking episode. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And I cannot wait to consume that. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great time. I'm going to have lots and lots of fun with it. I'm going to have lots and lots of fun with it.
Ooh, girl, I cannot help it. You are my new obsession. I think I'm falling for you. That is my love confession. You're staying on my girl. That should count as trespassing. I cannot help it when I'm falling.